welcome back. We're live on Channel 5 with Sarah and Bobby, and I'm joined now as well by Luke Switherland, who's an activist from the campaign group Everybody Eats. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. So we're going to talk about this now. Is it okay to steal to give to food banks? 0207 862 2222 is the number. Food activists Everybody Eats, Luke's group, are performing so-called Robin Hood raids on supermarkets across England and donating stolen products to food banks. In their latest action, the group took trolleys filled with essentials from several supermarkets in Hastings and then gave them to a food bank they claim had run out of stock. The group say 1,000 people would have gone hungry had they not stepped in. We'd love to know what you think of this. Activists have conducted raids now on over 25 supermarkets. They've also given out stolen products on the street and they put them straight into supermarket donation bins. The group say they will continue until nobody goes hungry. The British Retail Consortium said stealing is not a victimless crime. So tell us about the raids you've taken part in, Luke.
Well, the situation we're looking at in this country is dire. We've got like over 17% of the population living in poverty. And Everybody Eats is determined to feed those people and help as many people as we can.
So yeah, but I was asking about the raids you've taken part in. Where did you go?
We went to a number of supermarkets in Hastings.
Okay, so I'm just not blaming you at this stage, but just help me. You go through the door of what? Aldi, Morrison?
No, so on Saturday we did a Asda, a Sainsbury's and a Tesco. All these companies are making record-breaking profits.
We'll see that in a second. So when you go through the door of Sainsbury's, you look at fruit, you look at cereal. Where'd you go?
We take items that food banks have asked for, so canned goods, pastas, long life stuff.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we put them in bags and then we leave the store and we donate them to food banks that need them.
So you don't necessarily go for the highest value stuff like the meat?
No.
Okay, so you're doing preserved food in tins.
We communicate with food banks and we ask them what they need the most, and that's what we provide.
When you go out, assuming you take the stock out and you don't just put it in the recycling bin in the supermarket, you are taking quite a lot of stuff out. I mean, how are you not getting stopped?
I'm not sure.
You take it out with a trolley, do you, or what?
We take it out in bags, yeah.
Yeah. So you run out, or?
No, we walk out calmly.
Really?
Yeah.
And no one says, oi?
No.
You've got somebody on the door that you know?
No.
That's an inside job.
Inside job.
Well, look, there we are. That was a so-called hit on M&S. And Bobby, so it's non-violent, and it seems like the security guards are asleep in that supermarket. What do you think, Bobby?
So again, as a school teacher, I always tell my students you must follow the rules, follow the systems. In religious studies, students learn about the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not steal. But there is always this, again, the means justifying the ends. We are when I first came on, I was thinking, I'm going to say, actually, you should never steal under any circumstances. But actually, again, some of the stats about 17% of people in this country in poverty, record numbers accessing food banks. We're in such a dire situation that we can't just always rely on the people in power to sort things out. And sometimes you need, not necessarily the word stunt, that's an unfair word, but you need activities, protests that make people aware of the situation. So I think, yes, maybe it's an indictment of the society we live in now, but maybe these things need to happen.
Okay, mate, you say maybe, do you say maybe?
Absolutely, under no circumstances can you do what Luke is doing. If your food bank has gone out of stock, it is badly managed and something is quite wrong. I am a member of a local school where the sixth formers go and run the local food larder. Now, that larder is being serviced by a charity which gathers not out of date, but just food that is overproduced. All the supermarkets are involved and there's plenty of food. That is the right way. The local community pay £3.50 every week for food that they can get 15. It's worth about 15 to 20
Luke,
pounds.
what do you say to this?
Your food larder is badly run. And I tell you something, if you said our food bank is out of food to the local community, not only will I think the supermarkets help you out, local people will help you out.
I don't think food banks are poorly managed. They can't keep up with the demand.
That's poorly managed.
And also donations are going down because other people are struggling.
No, I'm sorry,
What about the
disagree.
idea, Sarah, that this is kind of a victimless crime? That's what people say. So I'm just going to show you some stats here. We'll go into a supermarket, trying to work out which supermarket we're in here. Maybe if we just go through the door and we can just look around and see if there are any clues in here. Go to the shelves at the back, perhaps. What can we see? Is there... Oh, look, there we are. That looks to me like Andy Warhol's tomato soup, and it's Tesco. Let's talk about Tesco, because they're the biggest, all right? Mahusive Tesco. So here's the thing with Tesco. This is just latest figures. Last year, they made 2.3 billion in profit, up from the previous year by 882 million. And the guy who is the commercial director for fresh food at Tesco, Dom Morey, don't laugh at this, claimed accounting measures, stop laughing, had inflated the chain's profits. So that's Tesco. It's not just them, of course. If you look across the board, you're other supermarkets as well, you're seeing really big profits being made. So you can list whoever you want, Lidl, Asda, Sainsbury's, Aldi, etc. Here's the Mail. Fury, look at this, the supermarkets actually put an advert in the piece criticising them. Fury after Britain's top supermarkets, including Tesco, Sainsbury and Asda, post 97% surge in profits. So those three roughly double the profits. That's the answer, Sarah, isn't it? They can spare it.
No, whether they can spare it or not, and however much profit they make, listen, it's a business, and a lot of these supermarkets have their own initiatives to help local community members. They are with organisations. So, for example, in South Oxfordshire, we've got the South Oxfordshire Food and Education Alliance. So they work with the supermarkets to get the food. It's all accountable, and then they feed the local community.
Luke, maybe if you went
and
in the front...
you have to have that system
Okay, if you went in the
place.
front door and you said, look, our food bank needs food, Luke, they might have just given it to you.
Exactly.
Well, what are we saying? Are we saying the profits of this corporation are more important than the well-being of the people?
It's got nothing to do with the profits. It's the fact is that, yes, they make a profit, but they also have initiatives to help local community members. And I can give you the Rose Hill Community Centre is fed by the supermarkets in our local area.
One thing I do want to say to sort of defend Luke's position is, by him doing these acts, it actually gets us to be more publicly aware of food banks talking about food poverty. So even if maybe...
Well, it gets us more publicly aware of theft as well.
Yeah, but also it's allowing children to go in and to take sweets because they're hungry. Is that right, Bobby?
Again,
No,
I would
it's
say, of course,
wrong.
theft is bad, but why do people commit theft? Is it to live a luxurious lifestyle and have this sort of like, rappers, I want to, have this guns and
But
gangs?
in this instance, there's no reason to steal. Why aren't you asking in the first place and document that you've asked and nothing's happened?
Well, Luke says the food bank has run out of money. Let's see
But
what...
that's because it's been poorly
run out of food,
managed.
I should say. Kathleen in the West Midlands. Hi, Kathleen, what do you think?
Hello,
Hello.
hello, panel.
Hi.
Hello.
Stealing is stealing. I look on it as stealing, but it's a lovely romantic idea, but it is stealing.
What about if you... hang on. What about, let's say, Robin Hood? He stole from people who'd stolen their own wealth anyway. So...
Yes, but he was
if you see someone running off with something stolen and you take it from them, is that stealing?
It's stealing,
It's
yes.
stealing as well.
But I couldn't
Okay.
run after them because I'm an old age pensioner, as you like. No, it's a wonderful idea and it's a lovely romantic idea. But the supermarkets could do more for themselves. If people do go in and ask, as that lady's just said, they probably would have been given it. But they can volunteer to hand out the products that are left over every day to food banks.
I haven't heard a lot about people walking into supermarkets asking for food and them just handing it over.
No, I haven't.
I don't know.
But they do have the bins at the ends where people can donate food. So a lot of supermarkets do that.
Thank you, Kathleen, very much indeed. And stay with us, Luke. We'll talk a bit more about this after the break. More calls on whether it's okay. Is it Robin Hood? We sort of approve of Robin Hood stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. Is that what they're doing or not? Welcome, Sarah and Bobby are with us this morning, and I'm joined by Luke Swithin still, who's an activist from Everybody Eats. So Luke is here because he's one of the people, I'm sure I'm fair here, who goes into supermarkets, swizzles their stuff and then distributes it. You don't eat any yourself?
No.
Would you consider an armed robbery?
Never. We are non-violent at Everybody Eats, so we
rule that out.
Violence. Yeah,
Okay.
Completely rule it out, yeah.
So nobody gets hurt. If a security guard challenges you, you don't get into a scuffle with them.
Definitely not, no.
So you're okay. So that's a key ingredient. You're not like these gangs of thugs that we see down our high streets doing whatnot. Oh, yesterday in my local high street, Sunglasses Hut. Destroyed.
Robbed.
Someone's gone straight in through the window, robbed
Outrageous.
it. Broad daylight. That's not you. That's the crucial thing. Okay, Ian in Worcestershire. Is there a case for what they're doing because the supermarkets make so much money?
No, absolutely not. Morning, everybody, by the way.
Hello.
Morning. Hello, Ian.
Morning. Yeah, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, to be honest, to send the messaging, that sort of messaging out to society is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, where will this end? I mean, this guy, Luke, I mean, might be a lovely guy and in good intentions and all the rest of it, but we should have facial recognition. As soon as he comes anywhere near a supermarket, he should be arrested and put in jail, because somebody like him, he might be doing it for all the right reasons, but he sends that messaging out that if you can't afford it, you just take it. And that sort of attitude running through society.
But no, I mean, he wouldn't break into anyone's house to steal a painting. He wouldn't.
Doesn't matter, does it?
Well,
That doesn't matter. How can that matter? He is going in, robbing people, which is people's livelihood. You're going about its big supermarkets.
Well, robbing means violence. Let's let him respond.
Wait, well, robbing doesn't mean violence.
Yeah, it does.
You can
it
steal
does.
without using violence.
Yeah, theft is what you're looking for. Yeah. So Luke, it's theft, as Ian says, pure and simple.
Well, I think it's ridiculous that we live in a cost of living crisis, but the corporations are making record-breaking profits while people are struggling. And if there is a desperate mother or a desperate father who steal baby formula to feed their baby, do they deserve to go to prison?
Ian.
Are they bad people?
Can I just counter this?
Yeah.
Really, I mean, yeah, can I counter this? We're always talking about this. The media's going all the time about cost of living crisis, cost of living crisis, cost of living crisis. Generally speaking, this country is very well off, and people aren't starving. We've got more problem with obesity in this country than people starving.
Is that
people
right?
spend them.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think I might.
Yes,
there
it's
are
true.
people going without.
Okay,
obesity is people unable
going
to
without.
afford good food.
Yeah, people are going without. I mean, I went without when I was a kid. I was a family of 6 on a council estate. But you can't condone people going and taking stuff. Now, this chap here, this guy who's doing it for all the right reasons, so he says, he's opening up the thing for everybody else to decide to do it. And who's to say he can have a badge that says, well, I'm doing it for charity. So I'll get a badge and say I'm doing it for charity. I'm a pensioner. I'm finding things a bit hard. So I'm going robbing, and I'll give him some stealing. We won't use a different robbing, stealing.
I
and
hear
I
you.
go distributing it. So who gives him the badge to say I can do it and you can't?
All right,
That's
Ian,
the fact
thank you.
all this
Yeah,
talk
I hadn't thought of that.
Can I just make one more?
Well, can I get on? I'm so sorry, my friend, but Fiona's been waiting. Fiona in Cumbria, hi.
Oh, hi, Jeremy. I'm so glad you've got me on. I just think it's indefensible that supermarkets should make profits like that.
Okay.
And I think it's really worrying that people don't see the problem. Anybody who thinks that children aren't going to bed hungry should go and visit and go and help out at a food bank, because the food banks are desperate. Because ordinary people are running out of money. The cost of living crisis is hitting so hard. People like me, I'm a pensioner, I'm a grandma, I'm thinking twice about putting food in that basket. And I'm not sure whether the last caller was listening or not, but Luke is putting the food in a basket in the supermarket.
By
Well,
stealing.
We're
By
taking
stealing.
some out as well, but yeah.
By
It is
stealing.
But this
It is stealing from the supermarkets, making
Don't
those.
care
We've been
who-
gaslit.
I don't care
We've
who
been
you're stealing from.
gaslit.
It's
Gaslit.
stealing.
I think it's a measure of last resort. And again, in terms of the figures, it's like 7% of UK households access food aid. That's 5.7 million people. It's not like 10 people, 1,000, 2,000. It's 5.7.
Fiona, why do you say it's
million people.
gaslighting?
We've all been gaslit to think profits mean more than anything else. Look at us. We've got crap in our rivers. Our air is unbreathable in our cities for many children with asthma. We think that's okay.
Let Sarah come back in.
To change.
The supermarkets have a system to donate food to local charities who distribute it to their local communities and help people. They also have bins where people can donate their food. And I am sure if somebody went in, a local organisation said, look, we need some extra food, and talked properly and had a discussion, they would be able to find a solution. But stealing,
Go on, Fiona.
I'm a governor I'm a governor at a school, and I know how it works.
I'm an ex-teacher.
Because
and I know
local
teachers-
children...
Hang on, let Fiona come
I
in.
know teachers are starving.
Local
I know
children are
teachers
running the-
helping
All right.
with hungry
Local children
Okay.
are running the local food larder in Rose Hill, a disadvantaged
that.
community.
You said that.
And it works.
All right. Go on,
they're-
Fiona, quickly.
They're not stealing.
But local children shouldn't have to do that.
Hang on, Luke. Just let Fiona go on. Last sentence.
Those profits are obscene if even one child is going to bed hungry. It's
Stealing is
obscene,
worse.
and we've got to resist
Stealing
this
is
awful
worse.
system.
Stealing is
Thank you.
worse.
Thank you, Fiona, very much indeed. There's some sort of basic defence from the supermarkets, by the way, saying that they try to keep their costs down, they try to keep their prices down, etc. So they don't say they're not running a cartel and they're not sort of skimming or anything. So they say. Alev is in London. Hi, Alev.
Hi, everybody. Hope you
Wow,
calm
what do you
down
think?
a little bit, please. It's getting really... Okay, so I've been on both ends of this story. I used to be a special needs teacher on a high salary. I had to give my job up because I have a severely autistic son. So automatically, overnight, I lost my income and I was on carer's allowance of about... It started from 65 to £80 an hour a week, yeah?
Yeah.
So at the moment, I have got £6 in my pocket to feed 2 children under the age of 8,
Wow.
a 16-year-old son that's doing his GCSEs, and a 20-year-old daughter that goes to uni every single day.
All right.
Now, does
I
that
tell you what,
mean
Aleph,
I
wait,
should go
Aleph,
out and
Aleph,
steal?
wait there. Wait 1 sec, because we've got to take our break, which is always the compulsory moment of the morning. So why don't you come back and we'll talk a bit more after the break. Welcome back. We're live on Channel 5 and My 5. Sarah Khan and Bobby Seagull are with us. Just want to continue with a few more calls on whether it's okay to steal from supermarkets. And Alev, hi. Sorry, you were describing how little money you have for everyone in your family.
But the point is this, it doesn't matter how much money you have or how little money you have. You cannot make it acceptable that it's okay to steal, because we're overstepping our mark now. We're crossing a boundary and we're going into really dangerous territory where all our morals and ethics are starting to come into question.
So
However,
that's what Sarah's saying.
saying that at the same time, the supermarkets need to justify their profits, because if we are all suffering in poverty, and believe me, there are children going to hungry to bed, they are, then why are they making so much money when everything is so expensive?
Well, Bobby, but let's ask Bobby that, because Bobby knows about this. Bobby's worked in the city and he knows stuff. Have they made this profit accidentally, or are they deliberately profiteering in a crisis?
Yeah, so again, in my 20s, I worked in investment banking and we looked at big corporations, supermarkets, etc. And ultimately, a business, your fiduciary responsibilities to your shareholders, not the customers, not society. Their job is to maximize wealth for the shareholders. And if it's at the expense of society, so be it. So I think, again, sometimes big supermarkets will say they've got these corporate social responsibility and they're trying to do good for society. And there'll probably be people in those organizations are well-intentioned. But the corporation as a whole, the shareholders, the share value is the stock market doesn't think, oh, we've done some good things for the food bank.
Well, and unlike water companies who don't have competition, supermarkets, we saw it in the graphic, you've got 8 or 9 big ones who are all attacking each other. So if you really, really upset your customers, you're going to close. Look at that. What was that brilliant shop which we had for years where they had the pick and mix?
Woolworths. Bring it back.
In the end, it just fell over.
Yeah.
It just wasn't doing its job. Thanks, Alev. Best wishes. Perry in Suffolk. Hi.
Hello.
Is it okay to steal if you are taking from a supermarket and giving to the poor?
100%. I am behind it all the way. I've had enough of people working 50, 60, 70 hours a week like myself and not having enough to get by. Basically, once I've worked 50, 60 hours a week, if not more sometimes, once I've paid all my bills, once I've done what food job I can do, and then I've got nothing left to do. We've got nothing. I've got 2 children.
Yeah.
And it's just becoming a ridiculous joke, and it is driving me up the wall. People who say, oh, no, you can't steal, you can't do this, are so out of touch. They're in their own world. They are not on the same level as us normal blue-collar workers.
Sarah?
Yeah.
I think that's really patronising. I also think that there are so many initiatives out there. You can pay £3.50 to your local food bank and get food worth £20 for a week. Can you not afford £3.50?
I can afford £3.
So there you go. So there's no need to steal.
No, but why should I have to do that? No. Why should I have to do that? Why should I have to pay the £3.50? I work hard.
Sometimes you have to.
No, but Perry, I'm sensing you don't want to go to the food bank because of understandable pride, right?
No, do with pride. I work hard for my money, and I work daily. I work nights, I work away, I work weekends, I work for my family. But I don't want to work my back off and constantly work and then just have nothing left, and then having to take it off other people. It's not right. For me,
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's almost as if they, I know you say they don't have any responsibility to society because you used to work in the city. Actually, they do. They're on our high streets. They've got to have a little thought that we can't be making vast amounts of profits on staples like rice and sanitary products and baby formula. They can't.
Things there's a great quote by an economist called Adam Smith. He wrote The Wealth of Nations in the 1770s, 80s. I think it's in the back of the old £20 note. And he says, it's not for the benevolence of the butcher and the baker and the candlestick maker that we have society. They're not doing it because they're like, oh, I want to make meat, I want to make candles. They do it because they're trying to do a business enterprise. But again, capitalist society works because all these businesses ultimately, they compete with each other. So if you provide poor products, you get outfought in the industry. But again, that's why government standards are going to step in because there's market failure. Sometimes businesses, large monopolies, ones that dominate industries, they can extract wealth from individuals. And I think that's where society's going wrong, where people like Perry work 40, 50, 60 hours, multiple jobs.
Can't feed his family.
That's wrong. That's something wrong. And again, that is a market failure in our society.
Okay, thank you for all your calls. Let's remind you what's